Hi everyone, I'm Kouka. I am an artist and illustrator born and raised in Haiti, and I've been in Canada here for the past almost 15 years now. And I've been an artist for as long as I can remember. It's something I've always been passionate about. Art has always been a part of my life and my lifestyle. And yeah, I just really love creating and showcasing my pieces, but also what I go through. So for me, art is a way of expressing myself and what I'm going through in the moment. But it's also a form of self-expression. And so I've always been passionate about sharing my story, sharing. So, growing up in Haiti, one thing I really loved and I'm thankful for is how my parents really were implicated in my artistic journey. So, as a Black girl, I'm happy to say that my parents were very supportive of the fact that I am a creative, which you don't hear often about. And my parents actually, when they saw in me the fact that I was so artistic, that I loved to create different things and try different art forms, they got me into all sorts of activities. But it's also growing up in Haiti, even in my home, I was able to see so many different types of art on the walls, which was extremely inspiring for me. So I was able to see portraiture and landscape and stuff like that. So the artists that have inspired me the most are actually Haitian artists. So people like Ernst Louisard or Karel Blain, which are two amazing and different artists actually. So you have one that's very into landscape and oil painting, and one, Carol Blay, who's very into portraiture. So I think that has really inspired also my style and the way that I approach art. And yeah, I think that's what it is. One thing I noticed growing up also is the fact that there is a lot of male artists and not a lot of women artists. So even growing up in Haiti, I just said like having so many different art forms on the walls in my homes, but I can't actually name one woman painter. So being myself an artist and calling myself that, I think was a process of finding my own identity as a person and just being so proud and unapologetic about being a female artist. So whew, that's a big one, actually. I think I really love to let myself be in the flow, and I find inspiration in all types of different places. What I really love doing, though, is going out for a walk in nature, which often inspires my pieces. So there's a lot of flowers, a lot of nature in my pieces, because when it comes to that natural state, I think there's something so beautiful, pure, and also very raw about nature. And I also find inspiration there because for me, it's how you can grow from a difficult situation and have beautiful things come out. So when you think about the flower, for example, after the hardship of winter, those flowers, they just bloom on their own. And I think that's very inspirational. And so there's a lot of my pieces that have, elements of nature in them. So in my pieces, I like to talk about the human experience. So my artistic journey has evolved a lot. When I first started, I used to be really into doing still life. So, essentially painting like fruits and stuff. Then after that, I evolved into more landscape. And then now I'm really into experiencing the woman, or rather, showcasing the woman experience. And so I love to draw Black women specifically because I think there's really stories to be told. We haven't been as much in art or represented in art as much. And I really want to tell that story and make like a change. I think there's so many beautiful things to be told. And the themes that I explore the most are actually peace, therapy, rest. You really showcasing how a woman, especially Black women, it's not just about being bold and strong and amazing and doing all of those things, but really showcasing how you can also be vulnerable and you can be yourself and you can be unapologetic about still having that pureness of yourself. So showcasing your full identity. So I actually have a personal story to share for that. Um, and the personal story that I have is one that's maybe a trigger warning for certain people. When a couple of years ago, I lost my younger cousin. He was only 23 years old at the time. And art, honestly, in that moment was like my saving grace in the sense because I was able to just grab a painting, grab some paint, and simply express myself through that medium and grieve. Um, which was a really hard thing to do because I think grief is such a process, but then showcasing and using art as therapy in that moment really helped me to overcome that. And it was a super difficult moment and time for myself, for my family, for all of us. But being able to just grab a paintbrush, being able to just go into my studio and just focus on that, I was able to put not necessarily words, but actual emotions um, on my paintings. And a lot of the way that I grew as an artist was in that moment, actually. So, yeah, honestly, had it not been for art being like that saving grace for me, it would have been so much more difficult to go through that period. I think actually that moment, even if it was a very difficult moment to go through, has helped me grow as an individual, but also in my art practice. Um, I think it was the first time in my life that I actually asked myself what I wanted to express through my art. Because before it was just like, I see a flower and I just draw that. But through that period of time, because I took the time to actually um, grieve and go through those emotions with my art, I was able to be so connected that I asked myself what I wanted to do, what I wanted to put out in the world, what expression I wanted to have, and really think about my own identity as a person, but my identity also as an artist. And so my art, even when you go through my portfolio, you can see how much it has grown, from doing more landscape before until now I'm doing a lot more portraiture, and I really want to express what the human experience is like and how it's okay to just be in your emotion or go through life and do what you have to do, but still be unapologetic about who you are. For sure. Let me tell you, okay? Art has saved me in so many ways. And what I love the most about art is the fact that when I put out something, I don't expect anything, right? So I put it out in the world on Instagram, on TikTok, on what website, whatever, and the response I get is definitely something that's super encouraging because because I'm actually expressing the human experience, people connect to it in so many ways, and that's what I find very fulfilling and engaging. And so I often say that art has saved me in so many more ways than I would have thought, because I'm able to express myself through that medium so well. I think I want to make a point here about the fact that right now in my practice, there's Kouka, the artist, but there's also Francesca, the business owner. And so I feel like as an artist, the challenges are completely different than me trying to run this as a business as well. And so, me as an artist, one of the challenges is finding inspiration, keeping my flow, upgrading my skills, because I think that's another thing that's super important is actually like not staying in your head and telling yourself I'm good, I got this and whatever, but actually like trying and making it fun too, right? Because sometimes as an artist you can be stuck on this is my style, I'm going to stay like this. um but actually giving time for pleasure and play, like to actually play with art, is a fun thing. But the challenges that I've had as a business owner is just like thinking about how my art can be perceived, or how can I actually sell this thing? I want to actually do art full time. Like, how do I make it so that my business is able to scale? Right. So I think I would have a long list of challenges if I had to really have the time to talk about it. But these are the few things that I can think about. There's a couple of big ones. I think mostly the successes that I can think of and say that I'm really grateful for are the opportunities that I've gotten along the way of people reaching out to me and saying, "Hey, Francesca, I want you to be part of this. Your art is lovely, and I think it's like perfect in the theme that we're thinking to go forward with." One example that I have, which I think was like one of the biggest highlights of my artistic journey so far, is in 2020 actually, or 2021. Sorry, we'll cut that. Timberland, so the brand, the shoe brand company, they were doing a collaboration in Haiti, and showcasing different artists, Haitian artists, actually, to launch a new branch of their work. And so they actually reached out to me and they wanted me to create a special piece for them, which was like crazy to think that Timberland like reached out to little me. So as a Haitian artist, I felt so proud and so amazed that those opportunities would be offered to me. So yeah, being able to like have different opportunities like that come up to me and being able to create a special piece for them was incredible, and I love the experience. And to this day, it's one of my most sold prints, actually, because people have seen it on their social media as well, and people like have reached out to me from France to like um, the United States and like different part of the Caribbean. It's just been amazing. So really grateful for that. Let me tell you, it is still a struggle. Not gonna lie, it is not easy. And I think how to strike a balance is being okay with asking for help. You as an artist can only go so far into your practice until you're like, listen, I can't do everything. Because when I started, I was like the one doing the social media, the one doing the packaging the prints, the one doing like the email coordination and all of that, and thinking strategically for the business and still producing the art. After a while, you start to scale and you realize, hey, I need help. Whether it's asking somebody in your entourage to support you, and just having people and knowing also who your people are and tapping into that network. I think that's how I find the balance. And then having time for myself to be, this is Kouka the artist. I'm gonna be in my flow. I'm gonna go in my studio and just create something that makes me happy. Because I think, to your earlier point about art as therapy, if I don't create those spaces for myself, um, I'm always going to produce art that's the same. And I don't want it to be like that. I want my art to be transformative, for people to see it and actually feel something, and for them to connect with it and be like, oh my God, you represented me in a way. So having that balance of tapping into my network and trusting people that are able to support me in my practice has definitely helped me tremendously. Okay, I'm gonna answer that with a project that's really, really dear to my heart. So last year, somebody reached out to me and told me, Kuka, I've been watching your artistic journey. I would really love for you to illustrate my poetry book. I was like, what the? It's like amazing opportunity, super stoked. She sends me this list of poetry that she's written that's like beautiful, heartfelt. Like she's talking about her hardships, she's talking about how she overcame them. And she trusted me as an artist to be able to illustrate those words that she put on paper into paint, or rather illustrations, digital art, actually. And I just remember thinking, wow, first of all, what a privilege and honor. But then, second of all, how powerful art is, that somebody from the US who's never met me before, only saw me on Instagram, is able to connect with my current pieces and say, I want this person to illustrate the words that I have. And doing that work was absolutely incredible. Like, still to this day, people reach out to me and they're like, yo, this girl that you represented for that, specific poem, it's exactly who I am. And they see themselves represented in that. And I think that's just incredible. There's no other feeling, there's no other yeah, there's no words really to express the feeling that you get when somebody you don't know sees your art and says you represented exactly what I was feeling, or I see myself in that. And for me, being able to showcase women and their different identities is what fuels me, because I want to be able to, like, anybody can just see themselves in my art, whether it's a little girl being like, oh my god, this person has nappy hair, or this plus size woman that's able to say, I've never seen that in art, because people are usually this type, and I'm able to see myself in that painting. So yeah, that's really what drives me. Sorry, we were thinking about that question earlier. I don't have an answer to that actually, because okay, for me, and this is, it goes back to the part I was saying earlier where there's the artistic side of me and there's the business entrepreneur style. So I can tell you as a business perspective where I want to go, but as an artist, I let myself grow in that moment, and grow through the journey, because I remember a time in my life where I wanted to grow so much as an artist. I was like, okay, what's next? Like, what other collection I can do and stuff like that. And I had to scale it back down to remember that art is so pure. Like, what I'm putting out there is a piece of me. And so, whatever piece of me, of that journey that I'm able to share, is what's going to, come out of it. So, I don't have an answer about the future. I think it's just an ongoing process, an ongoing journey of who I am as an individual. And that's the answer that I have for that. I'm putting it out there, and maybe this video I'm able to see it in 1 year and say we've made it. I want to be able to have my own individual curated show. So being in an art gallery or whatever, and just being, it's my first solo show. That's what I want for the next year. For me, I believe that there are artistic aspects in every single one of us. I truly believe that we're all mini artists inside of us. And that, unfortunately, society just made us think that, art is not sustainable as, a practice. And so we just shut that down. But I feel like art has a transformative power. I truly believe that. And so for me, the advice would be, if you're feeling some type of way, go into an art store, buy yourself some crayons, buy yourself something, and just like as a kid, we used to just grab those coloring books and just draw away. Don't let any limitations from society stop you from just expressing yourself in that way. It's just an amazing way to be able to just express what you're feeling without having to actually say any words to anybody. It's just you and that medium. So